If you're on the fence for buying a shotgun, or you've just been curious on what America's obsession is with a shotgun, let me break it down for you. To the whiteboard of knowledge. The first thing, obviously, is the price. So you can go all the way to like a Maverick 88 for like 200 bucks, or you can get a used shotgun for even cheaper, all the way up to a custom handcrafted shotgun for like $250,000, $500,000, like a side-by-side or an over and under. And that's one of the main aspects that makes a shotgun special. It doesn't matter if it's a $200 Maverick 88 or this custom handcrafted shotgun for $500,000. Generally speaking, they all do the same job and they perform the same. So it takes away the scale of high income versus low income. No matter what, a 12 gauge is a 12 gauge. Yeah, you can throw on different chokes to make it have different flight path characteristics, or you can go like a semi-auto, but it's still just a 12 gauge. You're shooting the same exact shell as the guy right next to you with a $200 gun. It'll basically come down to how good you are with that particular shotgun. It's not like the difference between like a $200 22 long rifle and a $500,000 sniper rifle. Now that's a difference. Now, like, okay, that can obviously outperform the 22 long rifle. There's no competition behind it. They're not even comparable in any aspect whatsoever. Not that way with the shotgun. Not to mention, even a $200 Maverick 88 home security, you give that to your teenager for Christmas, he's gonna be like, what? It's a shotgun! Like, that is awesome all by itself, and it's only $250. It has high capacity, pump action, like there's just so much coolness that comes in a shotgun that just blows away just about anything else you could buy at that price point. And again, you're not limited into a specific category. You can go all the way up to a $500,000 custom shotgun. Alright, so the next thing that makes shotguns really awesome is their effective range. With a rifle, it's pretty much even across the board. So, like, at the muzzle, the rifle is this deadly. Out to like 500 yards, it's about the same all the way through. Yeah, you're going to lose a little bit of kinetic energy, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't take that much to punch through an animal's tissue or human tissue or something like that. So it's pretty even all the way out to a specific range, and that's usually farther than 300 yards. With a shotgun, you can change the ammunition up and change the effective range on of it. For example, you could start with birdshot. Basically, the muzzle to like 20 yards or something like that is about its limit of deadliness. Then you could go to number 4 buck, which is great in like inside apartment buildings. Yeah, it's very deadly, but as soon as it hits an exterior wall, it kind of falls apart. Then you could go with like buckshot, then double-aught buckshot. Then if you really just want to give the good old-fashioned middle finger, you could go to triple-aught buckshot. Now let's say you need to extend that range just a little bit farther, you could go with slugs. You could go like a 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce, and you can get up to like 3-inch shells, go with like 1 1/4 ounces. And that can extend the range of the shotgun. Now, when I say that, like, no doubt, triple-aught buck, if you get hit with a pellet, even at 100 yards, it's going to be deadly. But the point is, it's no longer predictable after like 50 yards. So you got to go with a slug to make that shot predictable, so where you can actually decide where it's going to land instead of just random. The point is, even with a 1 ounce slug, you're pretty limited on range. Like trying to shoot a target with a 1 ounce slug, you're aiming quite a bit above the target because it's so heavy it hits the dirt so quick. Yeah, if you can make that shot, it will most definitely be deadly at a very long range. But the ballistic curve on it prevents it from going really far. So let's say I'm aiming at a target at 100 yards. I'm not aiming at that target like this. I'm like this. So even if I miss that target, what, like 50 yards or so down a little bit past it, because of the ballistic curve, it's landed in the dirt. So it really kills the range. Now let's say I'm aiming at that same target with like a 30-06. Because of the flat trajectory of the ballistic curve of the 30-06, or like say a 223, it's going to go a really long way. Like for example, a 0 on a 223, a lot of people will use a 36-yard 0 because the difference between like that and 300 yards is like this much. So if I'm aiming at a target at 36 yards with a 223, I'm going to be going like 300 yards, maybe even farther, remember at 300 yards, it's only varied like this. So for it to completely land in the dirt, you gotta be like 400 or 500 yards down there. Like that's a long way. So aiming at a 36-yard target with a 223 versus like a 12 gauge, the 12 gauge like maybe 100 yards, 200 yards, it's already in the dirt. 30-06 or like a 223, it's going for hundreds and hundreds of yards because the trajectory is flat. So yeah, you could put a slug like 400 yards out there, and if it were to hit it, it would most definitely be effective. But you're not going to miss a target at 100 yards and have to worry about your slug flying 400 yards because like 25, 50 yards behind that target, the slug is in the dirt. Because the ballistic curve is just this ridiculous arc. The next thing that makes shotguns awesome is the results. I actually ran into this. When I went from an AK-47 up to an AR-10, I was expecting my target to like fly to pieces and explode, and I'm like, oh man, a 308's just got so much power. The effects on a target are going to be just outstanding. And then I shot some targets and I was like, well, that was really anticlimactic. If I were to set this up as a target and shoot it with a 223, and then set it up and then shoot it with a 308, aside from the hole diameter, I'm not going to see a difference. It's going to have the exact same thing. A little hole's going to punch in it, and I'm going to be like, yay, that was not cool at all and completely anticlimactic. So you're taking all this recoil from like a 308, and the effect on the target is almost the exact same as if it would have been like a 30-30, a 223, an AK-47, a 7.62x39, 5.45. You don't see a big difference. It's just punching a hole in it. The difference between an AK and a 308, you can't tell on this target. The hole would be the exact same. Yeah, on something like a water bottle, you're going to see a difference because it's going to just spray out a little bit more. But even on that, there's just not that much of a difference. To really see the difference in rifles, you got to be shooting ballistic jelly where you can actually pull out a tape measure and be like, okay, yes, there's a difference. You know, as you see, it went 1/4 of an inch farther and the wound cavity was like a 1/16 of an inch wider. That's not that fun for a kid. Even just general shooting, it's not that fun. Like, oh, wow, yeah, that went like 1/4 of an inch farther into the target. So what? Now I set the same target up, and I shoot it with 12 gauge, it's like, wham! You're like, yeah, America! And there's like a crater where that target used to be. Like, that is a cool effect. Like, shotguns are basically made for kids. The limited effective range, the massive effect on a target, like that's cool, that's exciting. I set this up and I blast this with like double-aught buck or a slug. It's going to explode. There's going to be a crater where it was. It's going to be exciting. It's fun to do. With a shotgun, you can shoot clay pigeons. Like, you just can't, you can do it, you can effectively hit a clay pigeon with a rifle. That's doable. However, people in the next town over are not going to appreciate that when lead's raining down from the heavens. Shotgun, you can throw birdshot in there and you can shoot clay pigeons. You can use it for small game hunting, big game hunting, home defense. It's just so incredibly versatile because you can put in shells that really limit the range. So you can do a lot of close range work that you just really can't do with a rifle. Plus with a shotgun, the closer the target gets to the shotgun, the more deadly the shotgun is. Like I said, a rifle has a uniform pattern for damage pretty much all the way out. Well, as your target or your enemy gets closer and closer with a shotgun, your shotgun is more and more effective, so it makes you feel safe. Yeah, they're pretty far out, but if they get a little bit closer, my shotgun's a little bit stronger. Now myself, I could literally set up a belt-fed 50 cal for home defense because I don't have to worry about over-penetration. There's really nothing to hit. A lot of people don't have those kind of things, so they have problems. Like, I need to limit the penetration. A shotgun starts looking pretty appetizing. Another thing that's awesome about a shotgun is the ridiculous learning curve. It's a process learning how to shoot a shotgun. I mean, you're dealing with a heavy recoil. If it's a pump action, you have to do things. If it's a double barrel, you have to break it open, put 2 shells in. Even a semi-auto, you have to feed them so often. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 in the tube. It makes it a lot more fun. Like an AR-15, you pop in a 30-round magazine, and you're at the target shooting at paper targets with a big backstop because that's all you can do, really. You can't shoot at like clay pigeons and stuff because you just can't shoot 223 in the air like that. It's not safe. So it really limits what you can do with the 223. Plus, you know, with your bigger magazines, you don't get to reload as much. Yeah, you like practicing jam drills, like say you throw empty casings in your magazines to make malfunctions happen. That's fun to deal with. But really, it's kind of a boring gun to shoot, which isn't a bad thing. Yeah, that's perfect for like defending yourself. However, a shotgun, there's just a lot more fun behind it. You got to reload it more frequently. There's a huge learning curve. The effects on targets are just devastating. Even shooting at paper. Shoot at this with a 223, if I empty the whole magazine, I have 30 holes. Shoot at this with like birdshot with a shotgun, like 1 or 2 shots, this paper doesn't exist anymore. So much more pleasing to shoot at with a shotgun. And that has a lot to do with why shotguns are so popular in America and why if you don't own one, you really should. They're a blast. You will have fun. If you go with a Maverick 88, that will be the best, most entertaining $200 you've ever spent. And remember, there's nothing wrong with that. That will do the job. That will do the same job as like a $500,000 shotgun. Obviously, you know, like with the choke restrictions and stuff like that, that you can get with that. But realistically speaking, it's still a 12 gauge. Buy that and like 100 rounds of ammunition, you're going to have the time of your life. It's a blast. So I strongly recommend if you don't own a shotgun, you should get one. And if you don't understand why Americans love shotguns, well, that's why. The entertainment value is off the chain. You can get it at any price point, and they are extremely effective, and you can limit the range just by feeding it different ammo. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you found this video at least a little bit entertaining. If you liked Up Sports channel, got my Patreon right there. I also have affiliate links in the description down below. Just by clicking on those links, even if you don't purchase what that particular link is for, just clicking on it, and doing the Amazon shopping you were already going to do anyway, I had a little kickback for it because you came there off my channel. Don't forget to subscribe.